Postseason aftermath. We made it to our first ever bowl match as my first year head coach at UTEP. We're taking on a top 25 ranked team, ranked 15 that is Kansas State, with a Heisman candidate at quarterback. Can we pull off a crazy roller coaster season that we had and end it with a bowl win after having a positive outcome, which I would have never thought I would have had as a first year head coach with UTEP. Without further ado, let's get right into the juiciness of this bowl match. So, Kansas State is going to get ball first and check out the stats. Stats don't lie, people. So, as we take a closer look, third down conversions, like I said, we've been terrible all year long, under 50% at 46%. We average about 260 yards per game. We had to pass most of the season, especially coming back in games. So we have a 73% pass. Now, our rush game has not been the greatest, so we barely ran the ball. And when we did, we got absolutely stuffed. So we only rushed for about 26% of the time. Looking at Kansas State, they're above 50% third down conversions. So that's probably going to be an advantage against us as, we struggle against third down, especially playing against teams that are much more better than us, converting on third down and things of that sort. They average about 500 yards per game. So they're pretty balanced. They pass about 64% of the time and rush about 35% of the time. We've been struggling against both all year long. Let's just see how we do in this bowl game. So, just a reminder, Kansas State's quarterback was a runner up in the Heisman. Let's see how he does. Couple plays into the first drive. Play action fake. He feels pressure, stays composed, and hits a wide open receiver downfield who outruns our linebacker. And shockingly, we was able to get a stop for a 61-yard pass, kicking things off. One play later, 2nd and 5. They're looking to pass again, and they connect to the tight end where we had two defenders right there, and we just did not break down and make a tackle. Poor pursuit, poor reaction. He just runs right around them as they collide, and they get the first points of the game. Not a great start as our defense continues to struggle. As we get our first possession, couple plays in, 3rd and 8 where we struggle. Malachi panics, throws on the run. Our big boy tight end drops it, so we have to go and punt the ball right back to Kansas State. Couple plays into the next drive, 3rd and inches. We shockingly get a stop on quarterback sneak, and we hold them to just a field goal. Will they make this field goal? A very long one that is, and they end up missing it just barely to the right. They also get injury right here. So, can we capitalize off their mistake from taking a 2 possession lead? And 3rd down and 5, and we don't get it as we try to throw a short, quick pass. As we give Kansas State another opportunity to get some points on the board before the first half finishes. 2nd and 4, they step back, pick up a first down, just enough to get them in field goal range, and they line it up perfectly in the middle, wasting their last time out, chewing a little bit more time. And here's another opportunity to make a closer field goal kick. Let's see if they make it, as this is right down the middle, and it's up and away, and they make it. So going down once again, another match, just like our end of the season match, going down 10-0. Can we have another clutch miracle comeback? We kick off the second half with first possession, and check it out. Kenny Odom finally getting recognized as he's been silent for the back end of the season. 3rd and 3, can we convert this third down conversion to continue a great drive to get some points? And right here, get the ball off, but a flag happens, and it is a holding call against us, so it doesn't really affect the play outcome, and it brings up a 4th down play. So not a great start heading to second half. Kansas State gets their first possession, couple plays in, 3rd and 10. They're chucking it deep to the end zone, and we knock the ball loose. Great defensive play right there by our DB. So we get the ball right back. Can we capitalize? We end up getting sacked here. Bring up another 3rd and 10 situation. Fourth quarter is underway. Can we convert this 3rd and long? And we get some decent blocking. And we end up connecting right here for a huge pickup gain, putting us down on the 16-yard line. That was a crucial play that we needed. One play later, 2nd and 6 after picking up a few yards. And Malachi's looking. He misses a wide open receiver, possibly for a touchdown opportunity. Don't know who he was throwing it to. Looked like the underneath receiver. Very next play, 3rd and 6. Can we convert 3rd down? And we're throwing a floater fade. 1-on-1 to our big man. And we connect on this catch. But there is a flag, and thank God it's on the defense for pass interference. And we convert this jump ball head top catch for our first points of the game. All we need to do is stop Kansas State as they continue to milk the clock. We wasted most of our timeouts trying to have enough time just in case if we stop them. 2nd 3, they run right here, almost punching in for a 1st down. 3rd and 2, the biggest play of the game, as a 2-minute warning hits. We desperately need this stop. Can our terrible defense on 3rd down stop this? We stack the box. They run right up the gut and check it out. I feel like we have an opportunity to stop this run. We got an edge player coming off the edge. He can't bounce outside. He has to just hit the gap as they do have a big hole right here. A linebacker reads it. Check it out. Looks like he's going to blow this up. But a sliding off block happens. He gets picked up a little bit. He does make the tackle, but unfortunately, it's not enough as they fall forward for a 1st down pickup, and that would do it for our season. We do not finish strong with a bowl victory, but other than that, I'm satisfied with the results. We finished with a positive outcome, and making it to a bowl game my first year as a head coach was very outstanding. Big learning curve. We are changing things up heading into the second season. We are losing a ton of players due to transfer portal and much more. Now take a look at the shocking results of the college football playoff. Duke, out of all teams, shocks the world, shocks myself, and ends up beating Texas and making it all the way to the championship and winning it all. What in the hell? How did Duke pull this off? So we take a closer look, right? Tulane makes it as the 12th round seed. Texas is number 5. Texas advances all the way through, beating Indiana in the quarterfinal and then Michigan. So they had a tough task. And then facing Duke, like you would think that would have been an easy walk for them. No. And then you got Alabama take on Miami, number 9 versus number 8. And then Alabama takes on Michigan. Bama loses to Michigan. And then taking a look at number 11 versus number 6, Ohio State versus Texas Tech. And then you have a grudge match between Ohio State and Georgia. And Georgia comes out on top, which they end up losing to Duke. So the fact that Duke ended up beating Penn State, who ends up advancing past Louisville, and then Duke takes on Georgia, and then Texas. Like, how in the hell did Duke face these top tier teams and finish strong and going all the way to win the whole damn chip? Like, this is mind blowing to me. Now, even looking at the scores, Duke didn't blow them out except playing Georgia. Like, out of all teams, Duke blows out Georgia 35-17. Like, who would have thought? Now, the one thing I wanted to do that I forgot to do was take a look at who Duke ended up losing to, because they're 15-1. They only lost one game of the season. And I wanted to know who that team was, and unfortunately I forgot to do so and look back at it. But that blows my mind that Duke made it all the way and won a chip. So anything can happen, and we also seen that anything can happen during the season, because we was on the roll and we ended up getting upset by, I believe it was Mississippi State, with only one game that they won. And then we almost barely ended up losing to another team that barely won any games, only 2 games that is, and that was Delaware. That was the end of the season match. So the fact that Duke can pull this off against 3 crazy top tier teams to make it all the way blows my mind. So this was very impressive to witness. Let me know what you guys think about this. Now heading into off season. Now, for future videos, I want to kind of crunch it down and focus on key players that maybe stand out or someone to look forward to seeing in the future. So I don't have to showcase all the crazy work that I put effort into getting these players and much more. So we'll go more in detail about that once we get certain recruits and look at them more closely. But so far, my recruiting for this season was pretty much just filling in gaps and a bunch of players that I'm losing to the transfer portal. So I had to go into the transfer portal and get some players. But we ended up being 56th ranked in the nation for recruiting. So we had about a total of 32 recruits. I think it was like 22 that I got from actual recruiting prospects out of high school, and then the rest was from transfer portal. And you guys can see my top candidates of players that I recruited, and pretty much these players are from the transfer portal that I ended up getting. So that doesn't count from just recruiting out of high school. But I needed these players to look forward to filling also the gaps from the extra players I was losing in the transfer portal, and I had to really fill in superstar players because I lost Malachi Nelson, our starter quarterback throughout the season, and Kenny Oldham, our superstar receiver, who started out great and then out of nowhere he just died out at the end of the season. So he transferred, and a couple other key players. So we're going to take a closer look at some of these players that I did ended up upgrading from the training that we got boosted over the offseason, as that was the key focus that I try to focus on for my coaching abilities. As we take a closer look at some of the transfer players. Now, we did have a couple players that possibly transferred due to pro potential, just kind of crazy, even though they didn't really play. So kind of odd that that happened. And then we also lost people due to, brand exposure, playing style, and things of that sort. Now, some of the players that you guys are going to see as I upgraded some players, these are players that I focus on to getting from the transfer portal. So we got George McIntyre from Tennessee. He's a quarterback. Then we got Michael Tollefson, Arizona State's quarterback. Achilles Smith Jr., I believe he was a quarterback from Oregon. Then we have Yvonne Carrion, Oklahoma receiver. Bubba Hampton, receiver from Alabama. Ismail Sissi from Arkansas, receiver. Left DN, Cameron Beavers from Ole Miss. Right DN, DJ Reed from Mississippi State. Then we have free safety from Texas A&M, Miles Davis. Strong safety from UL Monroe, Carr Fontroy. And then we had 2 big D tackles. One from TCU, Ansel Uba, and Jordan Thomas from Georgia. So we kind of got decent players. Once again, you guys won't see all the players in this frame of just boosting up certain players. Like I only focus on boosting up, I believe, some of the quarterbacks and some of the receivers. But yeah, we'll focus more on that on probably the next video, looking at some other key players and taking a look at the depth chart of the new lineup, because my team is completely revamped heading into next season because we lost so many players. Now, when you're looking at these upgrades, I was able to especially upgrade these quarterbacks. I ended up getting 3 of the quarterbacks or so, but based off the boost that I had from my coaching abilities, which I got my coach at the end of the season leveled up to 17, I believe, and maxing out the boosting abilities, I was able to really have these players upgraded a lot, which really was a big help heading into next season because after finding out that I was going to lose a lot of people, I needed some way, somehow to help me heading into next season based off recruiting purposes. I know I didn't do too well recruiting wise, but the people that I pull in, I needed them to have an extra little bit of boost when having the off-season training. So I got these players. That was the big key focus that I looked forward ahead of time that I can count on. And, it turned out perfectly because the transfer portal help. I was able to get decent players with great traits. Some of them have star traits, impact traits. So with even that, they have more of an extra boost for points to boosting up their ratings. So not only do I have, the boost from my coaching abilities, but with their traits also boosted up with a little bit more points. So I was able to really get these guys from like a low 70, possibly 65 overall, up to an 80 overall to 84 overall. And that is a major improvement that I desperately needed heading into next season. So this is kind of the build up, also to help me improve my team over time because not only did I focus on these transfer players from, just their caliber, the tier prospect, which most of them was 3-star caliber players, but most of these players are redshirted freshmen. So heading into the season, these players are going to be true freshmen. So the fact that I have some of them like in 80s or 84 overall and they're a freshman, imagine if I'm able to keep them for the next, 3 or 4 years and over the off-season training, being able to boost them up with the amount of, boosting points that I get that's maxed out and plus their traits, boy, oh boy, they're going to end up being 99 overalls by probably the end of their second or halfway through the third year, depending on the performance and everything that pans out and how I can keep them on the team. It's just going to really look nice over the next couple years with UTEP. So the plan is if I do decent like I done with this season, trying to keep my coaching job offer with the team, having a positive outcome, I will be able to continue to stay on UTEP, extend my contract possibility, and then continue to work by improving this team. And then when it comes to recruiting, I can basically start to focus recruiting on high end level high school recruits. That way I can waste a lot of more points on them. It's like a whole process that I have going on, but doing it that way makes things so much easier to developing this team and getting my team to a superstar caliber status. So I have everything planned out. It looks like it's going to work in that favor that I have planned. And we just got to try to get those hidden gems, those superstar caliber players coming out of high school. And that's where things starts to make, the build up development and building this team so much more easier. So I don't want to go too in depth with all the, details of certain players. Like I said, I want to kind of crunch it down. Don't want to make the videos too long and get you guys bored on all that stuff because that's a lot of time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it took me about probably 3 to 4 hours just looking at every little detail, the archetypes, the builds, just everything from ratings, the type of players I need position wise, and what I need to focus on based off the performance, especially how we done over last season and head into next season, what I need to change up, especially when simulating the way I'm doing this series with the coaching strategy. So you guys also going to see what I'm changing up heading into next season. So I'm changing up the playbook strategy of how I'm going about my coaching style much more. So this is really an opportunity for me to pretty much start from the ground up once again. I was really hoping that I was going to be able to keep some of the players from last season heading to next season, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen that way. So, without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed some of these upgrades. Let's get into the final part of today's video. As you guys see where I maxed out my abilities for motivator, I'm at level 17 as a head coach, which is pretty impressive for that being my first year as a head coach for UTEP. So I had two options for my coaching abilities to unlock. It was between tactician or recruiter, and I went with tactician because I'm able to boost certain positions, and right off the bat, focused on QB and offensive and defensive line. Now that I'm changing uh, my offense and defense overall. Now this is the schedule heading into next season that they automatically generated for me. I was stunned. So we got obviously our conference lock games, but look at the beginning of the season. They done me dirty. So we got all three away games. Week 1, week 3, and week 4, right? And it's all against big time schools. Up first is at Oklahoma, who is ranked 13 in the nation. Then we got a somewhat easy game, supposedly, which we almost lost to FCS team last season. And then week 3, we got to go to number 5 Michigan, who almost went to the championship last season. And then we got number 16 ranked Texas A&M. This is absolutely disrespectful. I'm not gonna lie. They done me so freaking dirty. Now, we're overall 66 rating wise. Our offense is 64 and defense is 69. I'm pretty sure we kind of like downgraded in a way as a team overall when it comes to those type of ratings. So yeah, this is going to be interesting kicking off the season, but you never know. I may pull up some upsets depending on, what I'm changing up heading into the season. Hopefully, it pans out the way that I'm changing things up. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm changing up, everything from last season heading into next season, especially when it comes to the coaching aspect. That's because I'm trying to match my personnel archetypes that I brought in for this new season with all the recruits that I end up getting. So I'm going to the air raid generic offensive playbook, 4-2-5 defense, changing up my adapted AI to situational strategists, and then making my offense and defense much more aggressive compared to last season where it was like 50-50. So we got the offense at 83 and defense at 90. I want to bring a little bit more pressure because I feel comfortable with what I got brought in defensive wise. As you know, we struggled pretty much in every area last season. So hopefully this season it's a much more difference maker, and we just got to see how it pans out. So hope you guys are enjoying the series. First season, absolutely satisfied with the results that I ended up getting. It was more than expected, and heading into this next season, I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about this. What do you guys expect the outcome to be for this second season? Will I be able to keep my job? Will I lose it? Will I be bad this season? Will I be much more better than last season? Will I end up with a bowl win or not being able to make a bowl? Just let me know what you guys think down below. Stay tuned by subscribing to the series to witness it daily. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one as we kick off season 2 against number 13 ranked Oklahoma. Can I pull off an upset? I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.